Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Force here, and today we'll be checking out Dyad. This is an abstract racing game with puzzle mechanics. It was developed by Right Square Bracket, Left Square Bracket, a Toronto-based independent studio. Here in this video I'll be showing you some gameplay as well as giving you my general thoughts and impressions on Dyad. And yes, it is pronounced Dyad. I at first thought it was pronounced Dyad, but after some research I just found out that I was an idiot. So it shouldn't have come as much of a surprise. Alright, so let's hop in guys as we check out Dyad. Once again, an abstract puzzle game, or abstract racing game that has puzzle mechanics, and I'll explain that to you as we make our way through the video here. So, starting off in the very first level, you hook onto enemies by hitting X to pull yourself forward. And the goal of this first level is to just hook onto one enemy after the other and try not to let any of them pass. So, it's a racing game in the sense that your ultimate goal is to try to get through the level as fast as possible. Now, how you do this is what makes it a little bit different from other racing games. Now, as you can see, we're sort of just moving through this cylindrical object here, and that is how it is played. We're just playing in this little space and interacting with what are essentially enemies. That's what these little colored spheres are supposed to be. And the very first mechanic that we're being taught here is just the ability to hook onto them, which as we hook onto successive enemies, we increase our speed, and as you can see, we just ended there by getting 3 stars. Now, the next objective here is we must hook onto the violet enemies, but we have to avoid the X enemies, and we get a score increase for every violet enemy that we hook onto. So now that we have learned that, we will progress further. So the way you are going to best play this game is by hooking onto as many enemies as possible. Now, as we go through, we'll be introduced to more and more mechanics, not just avoid the X enemies and hook onto the violet ones. It gets increasingly more complex. In fact, I just missed one thing there, and oh no, I hooked onto a red guy. That was a mistake. Now, I'm sure you'll notice that the audio in this video is a little bit louder than I typically do. The reason for that is because this game really focuses around the music, the audio within the game. Alright, now we need to hook onto enemy pairs. Hooking onto a pair of enemies gives me a speed boost, so I can either hook onto 2 violet in a row or 2, I don't know, yellow in a row. And for every pair that I hook onto, we will get an increase in speed. So then the decision becomes, when you've got multiple pairs of enemies right next to each other, which 2 should I hook onto? And should I even skip some enemies to try to hook onto an upcoming pair instead of just hooking onto every enemy that comes up? Alrighty. So the music here is procedurally generated and is generated based on the things that you do, the actions that you complete within the level. Alright, so that was the very first level. Let's go ahead and move on now to the second level. I'll probably take you through most of this introductory phase here. Alright, hook onto as many enemy pairs as possible before reaching the end. Hooking onto pairs of same colored enemies in a row gives you a score point. Hooking pairs of enemies also gives you a speed boost. So again, the focus on the pairs, and this is where decision making is really going to come in. Should I hit 2 of the yellow or 2 of the blue? Now, obviously, you don't want to take too much time like I was doing there, but pairs, pairs, pairs is what we are going for. And the real goal would be to consistently be boosted, although you shouldn't expect that from me because I am not really that good at this game. I'm not sure if I've already said this, but this game was actually originally released. This was originally released on the PlayStation Network back in July of 2012. Now it has just come to the PC, and that is particularly why we're looking at it here. And oh my lord, I should be doing better than this, but I am not. Pairs, pairs, pairs. Keep matching those pairs if at all possible. So you would assume that a good player of Dyad would be boosting non-stop. And that's why I am not going to be boosting non-stop. Because I am not good at this game. And I missed my speed boost there because I tried to hook onto one of the wrong colors. So, in terms of how this game is played, it's quite simplistic. I'm moving around with the arrow keys, and then I basically use X and Z, and that's about it. But it isn't so much about how much input you have into each level, but more about paying attention to the surroundings and working within all the constraints that this game has for you. So, hook onto as many pairs as possible, same pair score a point. However, this time I have to avoid bullets. Alright, so let's try to avoid those bullets. And I also want you to try to focus on the music over my commentary, if that is even possible, because I am just a blabbermouth. But if you can do that, then you should, because that is a big part of this game as well. And that makes it one of those, this makes one of those games that's kind of funny to do a video on, like I'm doing here, where the goal is for me to sort of inform you about what's going on. Well, that's difficult because, well, it's not difficult for me, but it's sort of, you miss an aspect of this game, which is to really just focus on the audio. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there without commentary, so if that is what you're looking for, you can probably just do another YouTube search. But my goal here is to show you some bad gameplay and then talk with you about the game as well. Although, you know, there isn't really a lot to say beyond what I've said so far. I mean, this game is simplistic in nature. It certainly gets difficult. Just as with most platformers or puzzle games that I take a look at when I show you guys some of the earlier stages, it gets progressively more difficult as you continue your way through. Okay, so we're on here to another level now, and I'll try to keep this boost going as long as possible. I'm just I don't know, it's really funny. This would be a game that would certainly be better suited for a controller, so if you have a controller for your computer, then you should probably play it that way. It's passable here with the mouse and keyboard, but would definitely, again, be a little bit better off on a controller. Definitely would be better off on that sort of, with that sort of a setup. No question about that there. Okay, let's try to get another pair. So you'll notice whenever I hook onto one, and now I have to avoid the enemies, which I haven't had to in the past, except for the red ones. Whenever I hook onto one, they're gonna get highlighted there, which shows you that's the one that you need to match a pair with. So you'll notice that little shield around one that I highlight, the little colored shield or whatever. That says, hey, you're hooked onto this color, make sure the next color, to take advantage of the speed boost and to get a point, make sure the next one that you hook onto is that same color. Did I click to redo this? I feel like I just did this. Or is this a second stage? So some of the times you get multiple stages, but I think I might have screwed up there. I don't know if we're doing the same section multiple times here, which would be unfortunate. This is one of those games that I'd love to see someone who's good at it play. Like someone who can really speed through and not get hit and just be constantly boosting off of enemies. I think that would be fantastic. So if you're wondering, Force, you said at the beginning of the video this is a racing game with puzzle mechanics. Well, yes, again, because the ultimate goal is to get to the end of the level. The puzzle mechanics are the matching. You know, I'm supposed to match these various objects, and then later on, as we move our way through the video here, you guys are going to see an additional boosting system by moving near objects without hitting them. So even more sort of precision added to it as well. And it's also, I like the format of this particular game as well, sort of moving within the cylindrical thing. Although I would fully imagine that would give plenty of people vertigo. Yeah, I believe that would certainly happen to people. Okay, race both sectors as fast as possible. Pro tip, don't mash buttons. Be very deliberate with your actions. I have not been mashing? I have been very deliberate with my actions. Okay, so we're gonna match these colors here. And I'm gonna match this thing over here. Oh man, I really wanted to hit that one as well. But I can't. That's a orange one, get orange, double blue. No, hitting things, thank you. Wow, look at this speed boost here. Look at that, guys. So cool. Ay, caramba. So after playing this game for, I believe it was about an hour and a half is what I spent with it this morning. You know, it's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat little game. It's also fairly inexpensive, so if you are really into trippy, abstract racing games that will give you vertigo, then this might be the game for you. Again, I would advise, though, playing it on a controller over the mouse and keyboard, which is my current setup, because while this is passable, it certainly feels far from ideal. I am Oh, the lower the better. Good. Whoops. Okay, match it up, match it up. Back it up, back it in. Let me begin. Please let me begin. I'm trying to begin. Oh, gosh. Come on, gotta get through it here. I want people to listen to the beautiful music, and it only gets really beautiful when you're going really fast. Okay, here we go. This is something I can handle here. They're going the same color over and over again. You just gotta match it up with these rows, which makes it a little more difficult. Oh no! Boost it, get your points, come on. Oh, I missed the blue one there. Let's get the blue one here. Go blue, 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 yes. Mix it up. No, okay, there's double blue, and another double blue. Blue's my color of choice here. You'll notice each one of the colors also has a different sound attributed to it as well. And that's part of the reason, especially when you're playing, you want to play with the headphones on or the sound cranked up or something. It helps you better decipher sort of your actions and figure out, beyond the color, being able to hear the audio as well as an indicator to what one that you've locked on and what one you should be following it up with. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. All right, well, you have a fair introduction. Let's go to one of the later ones now. Okay, so those were the first four. Let's go ahead and move on down. Let's do it's steam engine time. Yeah. All right, so we've got a X enemies to avoid, square bullets to avoid, plus we have particle spheres. So we've got 3 sectors. We collect energy by grazing enemies, which allows us to do a lance shot. Now the lancing is the fastest way to progress through the track, and we want to lance multiple enemies. So this is a new mechanic now. You've been seeing me just hoop onto enemies or hook on enemies. Now when hooking onto enemies, we get this little field around them, which makes it so that if I pass the side of it, I'm going to get this energy, which boosts up my lance, and then my lance will let me go like this. It's the fastest way to progress, so I want to make sure that I've got lance. I've got 2 lance slots, lance slot 1 and 2 over there. And as soon as I get the lance thing filled up, I basically want to lance forward and try to make it as far as possible. So there we go, another lance energy, and I'm gonna wait till after this. Friggin', here we go. There we go. And the same rules apply, you know, I'm trying to hook onto pairs if at all possible to get a boost. And now I've just got the lance incorporated as well. And as you progress through the game, you are introduced to even further mechanics beyond the ones that we have here. You're introduced to mechanics where you hook onto someone and they will fire at you. You're introduced to mechanics where we've got boost trails that are left by certain enemies that you hook onto. So you're going to be dealing with boost trails and trying to lance. And then eventually, you know, you continue to make your way through this game, and you've got all these mechanics rolled up, and you're trying to avoid like a million things at once. It will just get beyond crazy, as if this game wasn't crazy enough already. Come on, go ahead. Head over there, thank you. Good job. Lance through it, please. There we go, keep on going. Yes, 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 victory! All right, well, I mean, I guess that sort of does it. This is what this game is, Dyad. Abstract racing, music-focused, lancing and hooking onto enemies, and I don't know, it's a pretty interesting game. Pretty interesting game. And it's pretty cheap too, so pick it up on Steam. I believe the asking price is around $10 right now. Or if you have a PlayStation, you can get it there as well. It's up to you, I guess. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe. I am bad at Dyad, or as I love to call it, Dyad. Oh man. Keep watching, and keep owning. I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing a lot better than I am here. I am just not doing very well.